Are you ready to level up your podcasting game and finally make some money from all of your hard work? Let's chat about podcast sponsorships. Sponsorships are the most common way that podcasters make money. It requires agreeing to a deal with a third party to sponsor you in exchange for you promoting their brand on your show through ad breaks. If you've ever listened to a podcast, then you've probably heard a sponsored ad. They typically take place before the show starts, in the middle of the content, or at the very end of the episode. Sponsors pay based on the number of listeners that you have and where their ad is placed within the episode. Potential sponsors look at your per episode or per month downloads to get an idea of their listener base. This shows them how many people they can reach by advertising with you. The amount of listeners that you need varies. Unless you have a pre-existing audience, the first thing that you want to focus on is building up your audience. If you've just started a podcast, then you need to put the effort into getting used to podcasting and finding your workflow, and then starting to build up an audience. This can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years and beyond. As a rough guide, once you get about 1,000 downloads per episode, you can start looking into sponsorship. Don't expect to make too much money with this amount of downloads, but it's a great place to get started. If you have a niche podcast, this is a good number of highly engaged listeners that relevant niche companies may be eager to reach. Once you reach around 5,000 downloads per episode, this is when you will start attracting more sponsors and pulling in more significant revenue. When you get to 10,000 downloads per episode, this is when you can start generating regular income from your podcast. There are 3 types of sponsorship models to consider. If you want to learn more about each model and how much money you can make from it, then check out our video linked above. CPM stands for cost per mil. This refers to how much an advertiser pays a podcaster based on every 1,000 listens that the ad gets. CPA stands for cost per acquisition, meaning that a podcaster will get paid for every sale made with an affiliate link. With this ad model, you negotiate a flat rate with the advertiser that they will pay you per episode to promote their brand or service. This is a good model to go with if you're a smaller podcast with a highly engaged audience. There are 2 main types of ads that you can use during your podcast. Host-read ads are when you, as the host, read a script or just talk about the benefits of the product or service live during the recording of the episode. These are the most effective for converting people because your listeners trust you to make real recommendations. These are also more appealing to brands because it requires little effort from their end. If you do this, make sure you have a way of tracking it, like a unique link that allows you to track clicks. This way, you can provide analytics to your sponsor. These are pre-recorded ads provided by an ad network that will be automatically inserted into your show using an algorithm. This allows these ads to change based on listener demographics. The amount that you'll make for these type of ads is typically lower than host-read ads. One way to get a podcast sponsor is to pitch directly to brands. This will make you stand out from other shows, come to a mutually beneficial deal, give you complete control over who you work with, and this is a great option if you don't want to split the revenue with an ad network. To find brands to pitch to, check out other podcasts within your niche and see what brands are advertising on their shows. This is a good indicator as to what brands are willing to spend money on podcast advertising and will give you a good list of your first round of sponsors to reach out to. Another effective way to find sponsors is by networking. Think of people that you know that either own a business or are in a position to spend marketing dollars. If their product or service aligns with your niche, then they're a great person to chat to in order to get started. You can also reach out to brands that you already know that you like and see if they'll sponsor your show. Reach out by email. This way you can create a standardized template that you can use for outreach every time. Begin with who you are and why you're contacting the company about a potential partnership. Pitch your show in 1 or 2 sentences. If you have great audience numbers or growth spikes, highlight this. Talk about your audience demographics and add a line or 2 about why you are reaching out to this particular company. End with an invitation for the company to contact you to discuss further. The next way to find a sponsor is to join a podcast ad network. When you join a network like Midroll, AdvertiseCast, Podcast One, or Authentic Shows, they do all of the work of finding sponsors for you. Some of these sites will have a minimum number of downloads required per episode in order to join. For example, Mid-roll requires more than 10,000 downloads per episode. These networks will want a cut of your ad revenue, so you won't make anything significant unless you have a large audience. Although the commission rate is high, something to consider is that outsourcing the search for sponsors will save you time in the long run and allow you to create more content. Podcast ad marketplaces connect brands looking to buy ad space with podcasters looking to sell it. Brands can browse thousands of shows to find one that fits and reach out to the creator to work with them. Marketplaces can earn anywhere from 10% to 30% commission off your sales. If you build a strong enough listener base and start ranking on podcast directories as a top show within your niche, then you may start to be approached by advertisers without having to pitch at all. Companies have budgets, they have planning, they have forecasting, so it may take them a while to get back to you in order to come up with a deal. Only promote brands that are good for your audience, otherwise you risk losing listeners altogether. It's also equally important to only promote brands and products that you genuinely believe in. Your listeners trust you to make real recommendations. Offer to share them out on your social media. Make a banner on your website, link them in the show notes. Show them that you want to get the word out about their product or service on all the outlets that you have available. Offer a 5-episode trial for a certain amount of money to see how the sponsorship goes. This will make working with you more appealing because there's little commitment involved and gives you time to show them what you can do for them. Google Podcast Media Kit for tons of examples on what to include in your media kit. You can also search media kit templates on Canva and use those. If you have under 1,000 downloads per episode, then check out our video 11 Ways to Make Money Podcasting for some insight into other ways that you can monetize your show. Now it's time to get out there and start finding sponsors for your show. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. And before you go, subscribe to our channel and press that bell icon to be notified every time we post a new video.